YouTube. Hello, everyone in the world that sees this. How are you? I was doing some thinking about divorce, and I was talking to a guy, and he was married to an Asian lady, and I was too. I was married and divorced. I've been married and divorced 3 times, and it's amazing that a lot of my the largest portion of my subscribers have been married more than twice. Now, I know that sounds crazy. So I did a little bit of research, and I'm going to read it to you really fast. I'm sitting at a stoplight here. There's a line of school buses coming. In America, there's one divorce approximately every 36 seconds. That's nearly 2,400 divorces per day, 16,800 divorces per week, 876,000 divorces per year. 876,000 divorces per year. I mean, the divorce courts are just sucking up the income, for one. Divorce attorneys are just making lots of money. 16,800 divorces per day. That's an estimation. And it's probably more than that. Now, I want you to look at something. 16,800 divorces per day. You divide that by 50 states or whatever per day. That's a lot of divorces in each state per day. And then there's another statistics that says 50% of everyone that's married in America gets divorced. So if you get married and you get divorced 3 times, some of your spouses might only have been married once, and other of your spouse during that 3 marriages might have been married 4 or 5 times. So, and people think, well, hey, they get better at it from experience. And I think you get better at a relationship and better at being married and know what it's like, and you're more adjusted. But I also think people are scamming the marriage system for money. And obviously, that's what it is. And if it's not, if they're married because of love to start with, later they see they're fighting or arguing or disagreeing. They want to do things their way. They say, hey, I'll take half of my assets and I'll just go my own way. So it really is like a business deal being married in America. 16,800 divorces per day. That's phenomenal. I mean, that's a lot to think about. Now, out of those divorces, out of those marriages, that would be, if the other statistic is right, 50% of the marriages end up in divorce. You get about, I don't know, what is the math? 34,000 marriages per day, 16,800 divorces per day, and but out of those marriages, 34,000 marriages per day. How many of those that did not get divorced are separated? Or, maybe they'll get back together. Maybe, I know couples right here where I live that have been separated 2 or 3 years and they don't even communicate with each other, and they're still married. And I know one couple that's been separated about 12 years and they have other families. And their kids are actually quite old in other families, and they are still married to other people. So, out of 50% of the marriages end up in divorce, you take that other 50% and you break that down into how many people are separated. I don't think there's any way that they could do a true statistic on that, because there would be no documentation. Excuse me. There would be no documentation on who's separated and who isn't. But that's not real good odds. That's not very good odds in the United States of America. And, it's worldwide, it's pretty much like that. There is 1 or 2 places in the world that marriage is higher than the United States. But everywhere in the United States, primarily every major country, I did a research, and they gave a percentage search there, and statistics, and everywhere was pretty much similar to the United States. The Philippines is completely different because there is no divorce and there is only annulment. But see, ironically, the Philippines government gets money from the separations or the annulments if they can afford it. Otherwise, they stay married. So, if a lady is separated from her husband, you get married with her, or you want to get married to her, and you got to pay $2,000 or $4,000 for an annulment. Primarily, the attorneys and court system get that. So it's just money to feed the government in the Philippines. So I can see why the law is like that. In the United States, at least, you go to an attorney, and an attorney, takes you to the courthouse, and you pay a couple $100 legal fees each, or maybe $300 each, and pay your attorney some unbelievable amount of money, and they go in there and basically begin to scam you real good. And when you're done, then you got, maybe 21 years to pay on a newborn child or whatever it is. Divide up your life. You're basically on the street primarily if you have no home. You divide up your life, and you got to look for another place to live, and et cetera, et cetera. And you got child support payments, and you got medical insurance and everything else. What happens is these things are, they're killers, man. I mean, to get married, to be in love, to, you got your life is saying, you're saying, hey, I trust this person with my life. Me, I wouldn't marry someone unless I felt like I could trust them in my life, with my life. I'm going through a circumstance right now where my children are lying to me. At least one of my children are lying to me. The other one isn't so much. but all of my children have lied to me. So, and my mother's lied to me. My grandmother's passed on, but she lied to me a couple times. And people don't take a lie like it's any big deal. They say, oh, it's just a white lie. But it's still a lie. It's still betrayal of some sort, And wives and husbands lie to each other. And these things eventually, if one of them cheats and then they find out 15 years later even, that destroys a marriage. All these things go into divorce. Some people just don't grow and don't try to be part of the marriage, and they don't want to be any longer. And they got married for the wrong reasons, like getting a visa, getting out of their country, getting to come to the United States and work and send their family money, and so on and so forth. There's time periods on paperwork and things like that. So be careful out there. If you're a male or female, it doesn't matter. Be careful. But I would say, men, you're out there, you're trying to make a difference in your life, you're doing logical things. Not that some women aren't logical, some are. Most aren't completely logical, and that's proven time and time again. But you're doing logical things, you're working, some of you are in the military, and they're working you like you're insane. And you fall in love, you trust someone, and then they decide, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. You lose everything. You lose all of your stuff and all of your life that you worked so hard for. So there are prenups and such like that, things like that. I probably will do another video on prenuptial type agreements before marriage. But be careful and think about these statistics I just gave you. 50% of everyone getting married in the United States gets divorced. And out of the other 50% that stays married, a lot of them are separated. And a lot of them are having children by other people that they're not married to. So it's the same thing as divorce, it's just not legal. They just haven't went through the legal process. All right, well, I hope you liked this video. You can look it up very easily. I can put links to what I gave you, but it's nothing to look it up. Just speak into Google or write into Google, divorce in America or divorce in the United States. Statistics will start coming up all over the place. And you can see even more information than what I gave you. So, hey, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share my video, and think about what I said.